What is up, good people? Jungle Inc. here. Hope you're doing well. We knew this day was coming. You knew my biggest fear was the DOJ. They were coming after CZ and Binance, and how would it all play out? Because we've seen Do Kwon, where they just print 1 trillion tokens in 24 hours and blow the protocol up, or we saw SBF, just the violence of that collapse. But with CZ, it was quite quiet. Quite methodical, business-like. He rides off into the sunset. And all the ways this could have played out for crypto, this is about as good as it gets. If you haven't heard, CZ today pleaded guilty in court to money laundering. There'll be in total $4.3 billion in fines. CZ will step down as CEO of Binance, not allowed to be an executive of that company going forward. His sentencing will follow pretty soon. I don't think he's going to get any time, or probably pretty light. We'll have to see how it plays out. But it's clear what's going on here. It's time for traditional finance. BlackRock, Fidelity, they're coming on the scene and they're clearing the playing field. They were never going to let CZ and Binance in its current form stick around and compete. It just wasn't going to happen. You had to see this from a mile away. Now, I have no doubt that there's a lot of problems under the hood with Binance. I don't think this is just trumped up to run them off per se. Every single scammer or rug pull artist, whether we're talking about Do Kwon with his Ponzi scheme or SBF, whatever you call that, these are all direct partners. Like CZ had his hands in the pot of all of these massive blowups in cryptocurrencies, and he was always front and center. They're not going to let that just fly. Like, oh, isn't that random? You're always around when some massive Ponzi scheme blows up. And if I had to guess on timing, what was the final straw that really made CZ say, you know what, there's no way out here? I would guess that might have just been a singular transaction, but something connected to a recent world event. Some money probably came through Binance, and he was worried about being personally held responsible for some part of that whole event. We don't need to go into what that was, but I bet that was the final thing that they really held over his head and are like, you better settle this thing out and get out of here quick. There might be some short-term, volatility, possibly. I don't know. Does Binance have to sell off some of their holdings to pay this massive fine? Do they already have the cash sitting there ready for this event? Again, I'm not really sure, but I think if you have a little bit of a long-term perspective, this is pretty good. This is the deal we wanted. If it had to go down, you couldn't have asked for a better scenario. Compare this to Alex Mashinsky or Sam Bankman-Fried or Do Kwon. Like, this is minor for the overall crypto space. I know it's not fun for Binance and CZ to fork over all that cash, but it shouldn't directly affect us a whole lot, at least not yet. Look, it's not over. We'll have to see how, they're able to deal in the interim here under new restrictions and, of course, that loss of cash, but I bet you they'll be fine. And further, outside of Tether, maybe, if they really want to go and mess with them, who's left? Kraken, Coinbase, these are easy entities to deal with. I bet they wrap everything up in pretty good order, and it's going to be time for the next evolution of this crypto space, where we graduate from a Wild Wild West era to, this new era of finance, and it's going to be massive for the growth of cryptocurrencies. There's been a lot of stuff that CZ did that I'm no fan of. You've heard me before, but I'll tell you this. He architected his exit and did pretty good by the crypto community by the way he got out of here without causing a lot of drama. And for that, I take my hat off to him. Let me know what you think down below. And as always, please like, please subscribe. The revolution will be televised right here on Jungle Inc.